This week I worked on the Subaru's air compressor. No, that's not a thing. This week I worked on the Subaru's cruise control, the Goldwing's air compressor. Yes, my motorcycle has an air compressor, does yours not? And I discovered a slight issue with the Oldsmobile. It's a new noise. In between all of that excitement, I got quite a bit of stuff done with Home Assistant, installed some lights for my whiteboard, and did an entire clean install of Windows, because my File Explorer took over a minute to load. First things first though, my shop was a mess at the beginning of this week. I was going to work on the Subaru and get the cruise control lever installed. However, it's a mess in here. I didn't think it was this bad, but it's pretty bad. Some stuff on the shelves that you can't see, from the stuff that you can see over there that we just dumped on the floor when we got back, to the garbage that is the Volvo taillight, just everything. It is a cluttered mess. I need to tidy it. So I'm gonna spend time doing that first and then get to the Subaru. Subaru started right up, holding here no problem, and we're about to get started on the cruise control install. Right, so we got that in. Like I suspected, it wasn't really all that bad. I did have to take off the airbag, and I made the dumb choice to not disconnect the battery, which didn't backfire on me this time, so that's good. But I guess now the only thing to do is take it out and see if it works. Cruise does not seem to be working. It's turned on. Pulling the set on the lever, it is not setting. Well, cruise just doesn't seem to work still. I'm thinking it's either the clutch switch. Actually, that's about all I've got. So I'll take a quick look at that when I get back to the shop. Otherwise, I'm not sure. I'll have to look into it deeper. So essentially, we've got our clutch here, obviously, but this switch here is not the clutch switch. I believe this one is up here. And so I believe that the clutch is pressing that. I could be wrong, so I don't know. I'll look at it a little bit longer, but I'm not gonna spend too much time on this. I essentially just used some Gorilla Tape to tape over that hole. It did look like something had been there before, but it had just like gotten removed. So we'll see if it's pressing that switch now. So let's back out of the shop again and see if anything is different. Cruise control on. Oh, it's still not setting right now. We need to go faster. Ah, that's a bummer. All right, turn around back to the shop. So what I did is I just taped over the switch, and we're gonna try it, and if it works, well, I'll probably just park this car and claim that I'll fix it later, and then I might or might not do that. Cruise control on. Still not setting. We should be going fast enough, I would think. Maybe that isn't it. Oh, it is working. There's just no light. If I push the clutch in, I'll bet you when it starts slowing down, it'll start revving the engine. Yeah, see that? So there's just no auto cancel when you put the clutch in. It is weird that there's just no indicator lights on the dash. I'll bet you those bulbs are out. All right, my key switches came in. So I just figured I'd throw in the time lapse of me putting together my new keyboard. The base is a glorious GMMK2 65%, which is kind of my favorite size these days. I almost never use the numpad or any of the keys in here, and these still have the full-size arrow keys. So this is one of my favorite sizes of keyboard, and I'm just gonna get started putting it together. I forgot to record some nice keyboard sounds after I finished building it, so I'm putting them in here in post. So it's Wednesday. As you can see, this week's video is rendering. However, I had quite a bit of issue with File Explorer. Essentially, it won't load. I am running the Windows developer branch, so I do have like a beta or maybe even an alpha build. Okay, here's the issue. It just takes a really long time to load when you open it for the first time. And like that also includes like when you're doing a download from a browser, when it opens that instance of File Explorer, it'll take forever to load. Hey, there, it loaded. I'll have to put up a timer so you can see exactly how long that took. All right, so with that click, I just finished backing up all of my user folder. I think it is actually time to reset this mother. It is now 9:45 at night. I started this just after work, off and on. I struggle with File Explorer. A lot of times the transfer would freeze. I'd have to kill File Explorer, let it restart. That would often take like 20 minutes because it's borked. And so I finally struggled with it to get all my stuff backed up. I hope. That's always the goal. Anyways, apparently settings also takes a long time to open. Settings is still opening. Close some of this stuff. Oh, nope, File Explorer just crashed again. The Windows Clean install went great. As I edit the video you're watching, File Explorer is still working great. I don't know what the issue was, but it seems to be fixed now. All right, so this morning I pulled over for having a taillight out on the Oldsmobile, so I'm gonna go take care of that right now. I also didn't have the registration in the car, which I do have right here. However, when I was looking for that one, I also found 4 others, so I'm just gonna go take care of these, put on the new tabs, and put the registration in the cars. It's one of the things I didn't think about when I decided I wanted to own this many cars, but there's a lot more paperwork. I have made a mistake. This bulb is fine. It's that one that's out. Sometimes I wonder. So this is actually pretty cool. I got new smart plugs for Zigbee. There's one right here in this room. The hub is out in that room. I've got another one here in this room for my print light. And then of course I have a few smart devices back here that are also Zigbee. So now if we go look at the mesh network. So after I got those 2 smart plugs, here's our setup. This device here in the center is the hub. That's what Home Assistant is running on. And then the ring light here is in Leah's room. That's what it's called. And the print light is in my room. As you can see, it can go from the hub to the print light or to the ring light and then to the bed RGB from either of those. And then it can go to the bedroom from that. So it's working really well now. Before we weren't really able to use the lights in the bedroom, and now they're working just fine. And then there's another thing. I believe the iRobot failed setup, so I had to figure this out. All right, the issue with Roomba was that it actually finds it via the IP address on your network. So I'm not even sure if this service goes through iRobot servers, which would be interesting. Either way, it needs to have a static IP address. All right, so the Roomba is set back up. That wasn't too hard once I figured out what was wrong. One of my favorite uses for the Roomba is in the routines. When the last person leaves home, the Roomba will start vacuuming, and when the first person gets home, it'll send it home. So essentially we're never home while the Roomba's vacuuming. For the 3 of you that are watching, if you hate this, please let me know in the comments. I can include less of this stuff, or if you like it, if you find it interesting, I can go more in depth and spend some more time on it. I just am of the perception that people find this stuff really, really boring. I find it really, really cool, but I'm not normal, so. The reason for the weird shape is so that it integrates nicely with this wiper arm. See how it kind of tapers here, and then it has this spot. Well, once this thing is on here, see, it's very sleek. Anyways, that's done. That was about, I think, a $20 part. Just this morning, I finished writing a program that checks the Washington State's website for open appointments. And just like 5 minutes ago, I got a notification on my phone, as that's what I set it up to do, saying there's an appointment open. So I've got an appointment for next Thursday on the Volvo to get inspected. Look forwards to that. All right, so one of the issues with mounting this here is that it's black dark behind it, so sometimes you can't read the text so well. So what I'm gonna do, right now I have that extra RGB controller from the bedroom. I'm just gonna mount some lights up here. All right, we're gonna move to my office for a little bit of soldering. This thing is freaking awesome. It has a motion sensor in it, so when you just set it down, it'll cool down. You pick it back up, it'll heat right back up again. It heats up super quick. I love this thing. It's super tiny, USB-C powered, like through a power bank or whatever. And heating up takes about 10 seconds. Well, I should be done soldering. Need to go yoink a power supply and test this out. All right, I think we're gonna do the quick and easy install. That's one thing I like about RGB. You don't really have to put a lot of effort into making it look pretty for it to look good. Because you don't actually see any of your work. You just see the reflected light. I borrowed a power supply from the kitchen RGB. Let's try that out and see how it looks. It's an improvement. I have the supplies laying around. Something to do. Got a little dusting of snow last night. Not enough to really have fun with though. Well, it's Sunday. I didn't do anything yesterday because Leah got me into Pokemon Go recently and we walked about 8 miles I think yesterday, which is a day well spent. But today I'm out here, I'm gonna try and do the air pressure switch on the Goldwing. Let's get started. Well, it is time once again to play. Will the Goldwing start? It's been sitting a long time, so I kinda doubt it. Yeah, let's just hook up the jumper. I don't know if I've made this clear, but I think the issue with it not starting on its own battery power has to do with this guy hacking out the thing that turns off the headlight. Because if you notice when I crank it, the headlight doesn't turn off. And I think if that turned off, it would just have just enough extra juice to start. Because once I put a battery jumper on it, it's fine. So what I'm gonna do about that is I'm either gonna wire in a manual override for the headlight so you can turn it off, or maybe I'll try and actually fix it properly. All right, should start right up now. I've spoken too soon. Oh, got something. Ah, damn it. Stupid thing. So this is the thing we're working on today. When you press this button, it's supposed to light up on the dash with what the current pressure in the shocks are. I think it's the rear shock, but that doesn't working. And so that makes me think this is the switches and therefore this doesn't work. We'll have to see if replacing this fixes it. Let me go grab that box. It's nice that this thing has such a big trunk. Lots of space for storing parts. Oh, I do not have a knife out here. I don't know why. Here's our new part. It is in much better shape. We'll have to see if it fixes it. Out with the old and with the new. Let's just plug this in first and start the bike up and see if it does anything. Let me show you this. So it used to be I would press this E-check button and it wouldn't do anything. This just didn't do anything. But now, check it out. And that's showing us that there's 10 PSI in the rear shock. If it's working, you should see this rear end, I believe, go up and down. So let me get this thing started up and try that out. Throw this thing in the garbage. Oh God, let's see if it starts. Oh, it's working. Yo, that's awesome. So it should be going down now. Okay, now it's at 0 PSI. Now, I don't know if you can hear this through this mic, but I hit the P check button and then increase, and it should go up. It's at 10 PSI, 20 PSI. I don't know what the maximum is. There's 30, 40, 50. There's 60. That's crazy. That is such a ridiculous feature to have on a motorcycle. I love it. I want to see how high it can go, but I'm not sure I want to try that, as I'm afraid it'll blow some seal or something. I think I'll look it up online and see how high it's supposed to go. So yeah, the pressure range is from 0 to 58, so I'm not going to put it any higher than 60. So that's that. Now let me decrease the pressure. 50. Oh, I can feel it going down. Oh, that's wild. So that's like 20. It seems like the spring rate is roughly the same. However, it just rides a lot lower in the back. Look at it, it's working. See, I pushed the pre-check button and it tells me what PSI it is.
Yep.
Then I can drop it down.
Wow.
Or we can go up. See, it's increasing. But here, sit on it with me.
Okay.
Whoa there, Jesus Christ. Be a little delicate. But then you can actually feel it go up and down.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It is cool. I can't feel it going back up.
That's down. Now we're at 0. It's just such a wild feature to be on a bike from the 80s.
Yeah. That's cool though, that you got it
Wild.
working.
Yeah, it was just the switch. All right, I am stoked on that. I did not expect it to be quite so easy. I kind of expected it not to work. But yeah, it turns out it just was the switches down. That took all of like, what, 15 minutes or something? Anyways, yeah, I have time to work on this thing now, but essentially I need to retime it. I also think I might have noticed a blatant coolant leak. So I need to investigate that and see if there's an issue with that. I also need to top off the power steering. I should probably write this down. I think that's the main thing. So it needs a bath. It needs to be detailed. I might see if I can get it running well. I'm gonna have it taken in. I'm gonna take it in and have someone detail it and fix up all these rock chips and stuff and make it actually really nice. So there's also issues with the canvas roof. On both sides, this little molding here has come off. And so I'll have to find someone who's good at this to fix that, I suppose. I really do want to spend the money to make this thing nice. I know my grandpa never would have. He's probably rolling in his grave just thinking about me spending money on this thing. I always forget how big this damn engine bay is. There's like nothing from here forwards. It's just for looks. Anyways, coolant. Let's first see if I'm low. It looks very low. Yeah, it is quite low. Let's say to check that Hoth though. Let's see, what else? Where's the power steering fluid at? Oh, is that it right there? Oh, yep, I found it. It's way down in there. That'll be really fun to get to. I don't think it's even on the stick. It also says to measure it while hot though, so yeah, it's not even on the stick. Why do you have to measure everything in this car while it's hot? Okay, get this thing warming up. It's a new noise. That is a new noise. That is not good. Is the battery just low? Well, you know what they say, try the easy solutions first. It's not like I haven't been driving this thing. I drove it like, well, a couple days ago. This is my least favorite part working on cars, the diagnostics. Got to do some research, I guess. Just looked it up really quick and found something suggesting the starter, which would kind of make sense considering it's kind of very to start. I think it's had the same starter in it for like 10 years or maybe even more. It definitely could be that. And I don't know if I've started this on camera before, but you have to crank it for a bit when it's cold. If you've driven it in like the past day, it starts right up pretty much. If you haven't driven it in a while, you have to give it quite a few cranks to get it to go. And so it might just be the starter finally giving up the goose. If that is the issue, I don't think cranking it will hurt it. Famous last words. Yeah, now that I have that idea in my head and I cranked it again, I really kind of do think that's the issue. I'm gonna have to do more research and figure that out before I do anything with the power steering or coolant. I guess I better add that to the list. Well, that blows. Well, that was a bit of an emotional roller coaster. A large, easy win on the Goldwing. And then finding out this thing is actually broken right now. Actually, there's one more thing that I think I can get a win out of before I go inside for the day. On the Outback, I just taped down the clutch switch
And so I think I'm gonna go out and try and just adjust that in the driveway right now. I'll need some wrenches and stuff, but should be fairly easy win, which I appreciate right now. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Well, I think it's time to assume the position. Did I mention that I hate working under dashes? That didn't give me quite the dopamine hit I was hoping for, but it did need to be done. Yeah, I knew that was gonna suck, and it definitely did. I hate working under the dashes of cars, but it is done. The cruise on this should work. This week wasn't too bad. I got the cruise control on this thing fixed. I got the air compressor on the Goldwing fixed. Got a lot of home assistant stuff done, and I discovered the Oldsmobile is broken. I'm gonna consider it a win that it broke at my house. Just the other week on New Year's, we had it all the way about a half hour away from home, so glad it broke here, not somewhere else. See you next week. Maybe I'll have an update on the Oldsmobile for you. I got to do a little bit of work to get the Volvo ready for the inspection, make sure the bumper doesn't fly off on the freeway, that sort of thing. I'm not sure if any new parts I ordered for Home Assistant will get here, but we'll see some of that. That's about it for me.
Before I roll the credits, I thought I'd share these sketchy, I mean skillful videos my mom took of my dad loading some stuff into the Lofts he built this past weekend. No one tell OSHA. That sign he's mounting is my great-grandpa's campaign sign. He's the guy who initially purchased the property out there. One of the older videos I have on my channel is actually his retirement roast. Alright, now I'll let you get on with your life.